Hey, everybody, I'm Couch Mike.
I'm Tim.
I'm Seppy, tweeting about
And this is
being
the
here.
and this is the board
Yeah.
game rundown, and we are live from our basements because we cover games from top to bottom.
Yeah,
Seppy's back.
Seppy's not in a basement, so he's the top, and then we're the bottoms.
That's right.
Let's make it weird right off the bat.
I like where your head's
We're
at.
bottoms.
Thank you for
We're bottoms.
yeah. I'm comfortable with this relationship. So when's the last time? Speaking of awkward comments and double entendre, when's the last time you had a double header, Mike?
Hey yo!
Oh, a double header. Is that anywhere close?
Back-to-back Seppies is a lot for you and Tim.
That's
I love it. You are our first.
you are our first double header. That is true.
Yeah.
Basement Seppy is the best.
Yeah.
Welcome, David, a Whiskey Wednesday regular. And yes, Couch Mike is back.
Couch Mike.
There was a brief stint of Couch Mike for a little while. And then when he went away, like there were some people that were sad about it. Well, I got a dog. And so when I'm over there, the dog gets ignored. So the dog doesn't get ignored on the couch here.
Yeah, the dog deserves love too, Mike.
That's right. That's right.
And that's a euphemism for Tim, isn't it?
Well, you know, ain't nothing but the dog in me.
We got a topic and we got a guest picked by our topic, picked by our guest. Jeez, I can't.
We do.
I'm tired.
Yeah.
It's been a day.
We are battling over the top 10 greatest robots of all time. I believe Seppy and I have limited ourselves to TV and cinema.
No, we're doing gaming, TVs and movies.
Okay, but I think Mike. Well, we opened it a little wider for Mike, so he could really have like a robust list. I think all of mine are movie robots. But even more important than that, right now, what you need to do is pause the stream, go over to Kickstarter, and look at Conquest Princess. Fashion is power. I believe you funded like in the first day, but like those are rookie numbers. You got to pump those numbers up.
I do pump it up. You know, those jock jams, Mike. Couch Mike.
Yes.
Come on, give us those jock jams.
While the feet are jumping.
There you go. We funded in 33 minutes the second campaign. Now I know Mike loves math because he's a sports guy, and all sports guys inherently love math. Mike, how long did it take us to fund the original campaign in minutes?
Oh, you said 30 for this.
33 for this. 33 for this.
46 minutes.
33,371 minutes.
Oh.
No one does that.
Close.
Like no one in Kickstarter. They're like, it's not happening. Yeah, there it is. Woo! Yeah. So with the help of you guys last week with the warm-up, getting people excited. My creative director was in town. We had a great weekend playtesting the last scenario that we added to the expansion deck. Yeah, it was good. Like this added like minutes to my life. If you don't understand, like Kickstarter is the worst thing a person could do to a person. Right? They do say God made Kickstarter to test the faithful. And that is because that reference should completely blow over Mike's head because of all the things we've been talking about lately. Yeah.
But, all right, Mike.
Yeah, but it was very exciting that it funded. The game has amazing Cuckoo Banana reviews, and the diehard fight fans showed up early to make sure that I did not die early.
I enjoyed the fight that I saw to be backer number one. I really enjoyed that.
All right, here's the deal with that. We do collector's editions of things, and we do numbered editions of things, but we don't give backers their number except for the number one. You get it random otherwise. You don't know what number you're going to get in the collector's run, but the number one, we could keep track of one, and the number one gets to have the number one. And so
that's awesome.
Simon Strauss has been the number one 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Simon has been the number one 3 times, but he has been unseated 3 other times by people like Dean Winkelspeck, Nick Lavalley, and Louis Martinez. It's highly competitive to be the number one.
I love it, man. Well, that's awesome, though. That tells you you're doing something right. You know what I mean? You've got, and none of those people are related to you, right? So, I mean, even better. No. It's not like you're bringing in ringers.
Only in my heart are they related.
We're all family.
Yeah, like, West is family now at this point. Flamingo Gus. Yeah, absolutely. But no, yeah. We had one secret item in this. This is how I hate money. We have a game called Squirrel or Die.
Right? I saw, yeah.
Squirrel or Die is fantastic. And the original Squirrel or Die, we made and sold like Girl Scout cookies so we go to the next convention, getting ready for our first Kickstarter, which was end of the line. So I hand packed and made 1,400 of the original Squirrel or Dies using a laser machine and going to Des Moines, Iowa. And so that making in the United States or trying to is sort of part of the DNA of Fight in a Box. But this harkened to, we did one super elite version of Squirrel or Die that somebody is going to get in our custom format, which is the super nice acrylic sets, but it has all custom art and theme. So it is their personal Squirrel or Die.
Wow.
Yeah, so that is a crazy item. That item's crazy. It was one.
And apparently you don't value your own free time either.
Nice one. We're making one. It is a one-off. Yeah.
I love it. Well, again, though, right? Like Fight in a Box provides an experience like no other game company.
Both fighting in and outside of the box. As you are going to see for tonight's topic, I will bring the fight to this topic. Woo-hoo! Do we want to start with the rules, or do we want to start with the topic and the parameters? Where do we want to start, Tim?
All the above.
Yeah, all the above. I think the rules are the topic and the parameters. So we've each come with 10 robots. I have some backups in case there's crossover. I like Seppy, probably went for some deep, interesting cuts. So like Seppy and I might be trying to out hipster each other and actually pick, have crossover. So I've got some backup, got some alternatives. There's one that I will not budge, actually 2 that I will not budge off of because of my love for them. I'm going to throw up the heart real quick. So I'm going to be stuck with those no matter what. But I have some alternatives. I got some things that I can throw around and shift around. But don't forget all my rule. There is no rules. All lists are arbitrary. But what we're going to do is, so Seppy has proposed that we Rock'em Sock'em Robots this list. So we're going to like for our number 10, they're going to enter an arena basically, and we're going to pick the winner. We're going to go 1v1, right? And then the odd man out, like the person who got the bye round fights the winner of the 1v1, correct?
No, this is how it works.
Okay, lay it out.
Every round, we will start by rolling for initiative.
Okay.
And then the person who wins initiative gets to pick who they want to face off against. And they will get to present their robot and their argument for that robot. The person who's outside of the ring is the judge.
That's right.
Decide which of those two put forward the most compelling argument for their robot. That winner will then face off against that judge's robot, and then the person who got knocked out decides who will take that spot.
Right. And we're not holding grudges, right? There's not like a...
Yeah, you shouldn't, but
but we're not robots. We're human. We're fallible.
That's right. We're fallible. You got to do this thing. Like, if you get spiteful when you get deep in your glass, I understand. There are mean drunks.
I'm a happy drunk. I'm a happy guy.
All right. So,
so some of the rules, right? So we've got no cyborgs. First of all, no cyborgs. So that's like no Borg, no RoboCop, whom I love.
If you started as a human and we took away parts, replacing them with machines, that's out.
That's out, right? But, no, isn't Ghost in the Shell? Isn't she a
Major
cyborg?
Kusaragi is out because she started as a human and they just kept on replacing her body.
Right.
Eventually, though, she fuses with the puppet master at some point, and that's when it gets like we don't know like what classification. So she's out.
Sure.
Major Kusaragi and it's 2D. Major Kusaragi is out. RoboCop is out. But Daryl is in.
Yes. Daryl's in, the Terminators, the T-1000s, T-800, all of those are in. The Terminatrix, they all count. We won't step on anybody's list. Also out, even though they are badass, are like the things from Pacific Rim, right? The big mechs, anything you can that's piloted by a human.
No, those are in.
Those are in. Piloted is in.
Yeah, pilots are in. You can't talk about giant robots without like the Gundams, the Veritech fighters, all those guys. They are in. They
are
giant robots. They just have to have an operating system. And Pacific Rim specifically has a weirdo, wacko operating system.
Oh, it's the best. I love it.
Like I am mind melding and having like group trauma with you. Like the Gundams, like, oh my God, you're pressing the brain until a person explodes. Yeah, so it is definitely like a piloted robots count because they're such a big part of the giant robot genre. Now, if we had limited this to androids or droids, then you would be correct. But this is robots, and there are a lot of piloted giant robots. There are just so many piloted giant robots.
You're right. And so those are allowed. But then we have no AI systems.
AIs, if they have a body that is defined and that they claim ownership to, count.
But like for example, Hal does not count because he's an AI.
Yeah, and he doesn't care about his body. He can go anywhere.
Yeah, the ship is not his body, right? Like like that terminal that he's talking out of is not his body.
Right, yeah.
He's an AI through the whole ship.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Hal is out. He's
out.
The planet from I have no mouth, but I need to scream. Planet is out. It understands that it is alone and it is planet size, but does not really claim the planet as its body. Like AIs, Skynet is out.
Yes, Skynet is out. Skynet is out.
So
agreed.
It does not have a defined body that it owns. It has to own that body.
Agreed.
Okay.
Let's see. What else am I missing? What else do we got?
I think those are the main ones. A defined body. It must robot define. So the Transformers are in.
Yes.
Because they Autobot define.
Yes. Agreed. Okay. Transformers in, Autobots in.
Autobots in. Like originally robotic life forms are in. Like so the Haley Joel Osment from AI is in because it also claims its body, right? Correct. Gigolo Joe. Robot, Gigolo, like Jude Law, like
yes, Teddy. If you want to talk about a movie that I loathe, but there's a couple characters that I like, yes, Teddy and Gigolo Joe.
That's right.
Count.
Mike's
and nothing against
Joe, aren't you, Mike?
What's that?
Uh-oh, we lost Mike. He's out already.
Oh crap! He did drop out.
Oh.
Well,
I think Sushi ate the channel.
He touched the screen, or not the screen, my touchpad on my laptop, and it's back. So
hey, Gigolo Joe, good to have you back.
He's back. Gigolo Joe's back.
So has to have a clearly defined body. That's why AIs are out. Has to have an operating system or an intelligence to it that is defined in that body. and it cannot be a human who had all his parts eventually replaced by machines.
Correct.
Out. All those are out.
Oh, here we go on Board Game Rundown. Sushi eats you. Hey, we're getting the. Bob wasn't even here for that off-camera joke, and you could just tell he fits right in.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I'm here for it. All right, are we ready to roll for initiative? Does the chat have any questions or objections to our rules? Please tell us we're wrong. Remember, there's no bad complaints, just bad game designers. What's going on here,
and bad hosts.
Yeah, no, the hosts are amazing.
When we roll, what are you rolling?
A D20.
A D20. Okay.
For initiative, everybody. We're rolling for initiative.
So the top two, we're gonna all roll. The top two are gonna face off, and the
person who wins initiative gets to pick who they want to face off against.
That's right. Okay. 19.
In the 10th round, I rolled a 16.
19.
Uh-oh. He is muted. Mike know that he's muted?
Couch Mike is out of control. We can't.
Oh, no. He can't be judged.
You're muted, bro.
Muting me, telling Sushi to get off the laptop. I have a 2. And that's the second consecutive 2 I've rolled on this thing. So I may need a new die before this.
All right, Tim. Do you want to take on me with Mike as the judge, or do you want to take on Mike with me as the judge?
If you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. I want to go after Seppy round 1. Let's do it.
All right. Since you won initiative, you get to decide if you would like to throw out your robot first or rebuttal your my robot with your robot.
I will go for the rebuttal.
Oh, you're going to go for the rebuttal. All right. It is your job to rate which of these 2 robots comes out on the robot competition. Because also remember, you secretly know what your robot is. Are you going to pick the one you think your robot can take? Or are you going to go with what your heart says, like an objective judge?
Uh-oh.
See?
So, real quick, Trevor, it's ambiguous whether or not Deckard is a replicant, but replicants would count as robots because they are manufactured.
They are manufactured. They do count. All right. So I am going to go with the deepest cinematic cut possible. And I understand that Mike might not go with this, but all robots, despite the social commentary and embraced by German fascists of the 1920s, we're going to choose Maria /Futura from Metropolis.
I left her off my list because I knew that you were going to take her. I knew it.
All right. So if you might need to, like on your iPad, see Maria in 1927. Maria is a full body robot. And I would argue very strongly that the special effects and presentation of Maria would not be outdone until the 1970s. Flat out. Okay? Now, Maria ends up dying after pretending to be a human, inciting riots in humans, okay, at the stake. So she's burned at the stake, okay? So Maria is an amazing example of how one idea ends up in the zeitgeist and proliferates all over the place. We would never have replicants. We would never have Westworld robots. We would never have CP3O. There is nobody, and the fact that this idea of tackling gender issues from the perspective of a non-human all comes up in this movie, which is like a little cuckoo's bananas. So I am submitting Maria from Metropolis as my number 10, as like the mother of all cinematic robots, and how profoundly effect that she had on science fiction.
Wow, Tim, he just laid the foundation for robots.
He did.
Good luck.
Yeah. No. This is why I go after Seppy first. Because here's the thing. Seppy picked one of the greatest robots in cinema history. No, hands down, he did. But that was his number 10. He's peaking early.
No.
He's peaking early.
10 spot, easy.
He's peaking early. Mike, let me appeal to your better nature, sir. My movie has time travel and robots. It has robots sent from the future to kill people in the past. And the only way the people from the past can up with station. They go to heaven.
Your audio for a second.
Am I back? Am I back? They go to heaven.
Yeah.
They meet up with station, handed to them by God himself to then build good versions of Bill and Ted to fight the evil versions of Bill and Ted to then save the babes and the future. The evil Bill and Ted look way cooler than the good Bill and Ted, because good Bill and Ted were made out of junk and, essentially made by idiots. But Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey and honestly, the Bill and Ted number 3 have some of the best robots, some of my favorite robots of all time. So Bill and Ted, I mean, the story is epic. It crosses time, space, the heavens. I mean, it's dimensions. They literally go to hell. They go to heaven. They're in the future. They're in the past. They go everywhere. It's amazing. It's most excellent.
It is most excellent. I see the fact that it is most excellent, but it is not the top robot in the 10 spot. It is, yeah.
I know it should be like 5 or 6, but you came out with Maria.
All right, Mike, what is your judgment and why?
Pretty easy. Maria wins. I've seen Bill and Ted. I don't remember robots. So there you go.
Oh wow, that is a great forgettable. That your choice was forgettable, Tim. I liked your choice. I didn't like your choice as much as Maria, but yeah. All right, Mike. Tim now will judge on your pick. Which robot did you pick, and why did they hit your number 10 spot?
Okay, so Maya, as we know, I'll just get it out of the way, lay the groundwork here. Movie knowledge very limited. So what I have seen is going to be low-hanging fruit. But that does not mean that these are not impactful robots, because my number 10 is number 5. My number 10 is number 5. And so, okay, now if you grew up in the 80s, didn't you have a VHS tape that was just a recording of other VHS tapes? And I had one it had Stephen King's Christine, Dumbo, and Short Circuit on it. Okay. And I wore that tape out. I watched Short Circuit so many times as a kid. If you grew up in the 80s, then, I mean, in my opinion, this was like mass market. Everybody knew about Johnny Five. And Johnny Five is the reason why, if you're our age, you maybe even give a damn about robots, because Johnny Five made you care about him. Johnny Five was alive. You didn't want to see him get disassembled. So he made you care about him. Yes, he had this horribly awkward, somewhat annoying voice, but when this guy right here does Bee Gees Disco, how can you not appreciate that? I mean, Johnny number 5 is my number 10.
All right.
Mike, go with your rebuttal.
My rebuttal, why Maria is better, is everything Mike said is true if it was genuine, but we know that there's a direct tie between Johnny Five and Wall-E, and Mike does not appreciate Wall-E. Also, if he had said Johnny Five is number 5, he should have obviously taken the number 5 spot. So I think this disingenuous choice of Johnny Five precludes his everyman argument. I'm the everyman. Don't let these hoity robots take the spot. And the fact is, this is a planned audience grab. I think Maria's place in history and for C3PO beats out Johnny Five, and Mike's disingenuine love for Johnny Five because he hates Wally. It does not compute.
Does not compute. So I got two reasons why I've picked my winner. One is that, Mike, if you had made Johnny Five number 5,
yes,
your number 5, he would have to win by default.
Yeah, 100%.
If he had put Maria at number 5 and you had number 5,
I had my numbers set and I did not change them.
You're fine, but also more importantly, why Short Circuit cannot win and why Johnny Five was not on my list is because of Fisher Stevens and how problematic that is. Mike, do you remember the Indian guy in Short Circuit?
Yeah.
So bad. It's so
yeah,
bad.
look him up.
Right. He's not an Indian guy.
Not at all. He's not even tan. I mean, he's literally doing brown face and
yeah. I didn't want to go to that dark place, but that is also why Johnny Five did not make my list.
I love Steve Guttenberg. I love Ali Sheedy. I love Short Circuit 1 and 2 because number 2's got Michael McKean in it, and I love Michael McKean and everything. But it still has Fisher Stevens. If this was
number 5, we would have had, even then, we had to give it the 80s pass. Maybe everybody gets 180s pass for this. And yes, but so Judge, who are you ruling for in the number 10 spot?
I'm going West Side Story on this. Maria.
Yeah. You guys are so good to your guests. Maria takes the number 10 spot.
Maria's number 10. She's also
number 10 spot.
Hipster film nerd Tim loves German expressionism. You know, like let's go with Metropolis.
Yeah, Metropolis has got problems on the social commentary end. It really does. But that aside, I would like to hear if the streamer, anybody has any questions or rebuts that somebody thinks somebody else's choice.
No, I mean, David supported you.
All right, that means our system is 100% valid, and we must continue.
Nix did think though that the fact that Johnny Five had his own song by El DeBarge, that's points. Maria doesn't have a song, but she is sort of the mother of all, cinematic science fiction robots. It makes sense to lead your list and birth the rest of this list from her seal womb.
All right. Are we going with rolling for initiative I took number 10, which is great. I love it. Okay. It's time to roll for initiative again, Mike. Are you ready for this?
I hope you roll a 2 just so Mike has to throw that die out the window. I got my roll.
Ooh.
I got a 17.
Oh, I got a 10.
14.
Oh, Seppy, you get to choose.
Mine, I'm going deep nerd cuts, and I expect to lose, but it just, for personal reasons, this robot had to be on my list. Mike, would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first? Either way, I'll do it.
Go ahead.
Okay. And make sure you find pictures of this. For all the reasons that it affected my childhood, we have to go with Johnny Sacco's flying robot.
Ooh, I don't know if I know this one.
Yeah, Daisaku Kasama, the giant robo. Yes. So this is like early Japanese children's action, like people in rubber suits fighting, and this is Giant Robo. Okay, it did come to the United States. They translated it. Go ahead and pop one of those. Oh, yeah. That one in the right-hand corner is extra amazing. Okay,
let's see that bad boy.
This giant robot is. There's somebody selling prints. That's fantastic. So, the giant robot genre has a lot of things going on it. Like the whole boy and his robot trope is based on this relationship with Daisaku Kasama and his giant robot. The robot was made by evil scientists and then was kidnapped by our owner. And Johnny is the only person using the watch. Johnny is the only person who can control Astro Boy will sort of count, but he is also in this genre. So we're talking about the impact of Japanese pop culture on robot culture. And my 8 and 9 have everything to do with deep nostalgia cuts for me. And that is, can you find a picture for us, Mike, where Johnny is talking into his watch or flying on the outside of this robot in a very unhealthy way? Oh, there's a picture of the giant robot.
I can imagine by that shot there that,
like, child labor laws, child endangerment. You have to save the world because you're the only person who can control the giant robot that will defeat the kaiju. And for this reason, Johnny Sacco and his flying robot are my number 9.
All right, Mike.
Wow.
You need a budget of $20 to beat that one.
Yeah. Wow.
And now that I've been culturally insensitive and trashed Seppy's pick. What's funny though is I get some like Ultraman vibes off of that guy. You know.
Oh, we're gonna get there next.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, I was gonna get us a bingo sheet made for tonight because Tim just got us canceled. Okay. All right. So here's my biggest reach of the list. I talked to Tim a little bit earlier without spoilers about how I was just going to absolutely throw a complete curveball to you guys. And there was just no way you guys were going to see this one coming. There's debates as to whether this is even a robot. Mike, surely you are not going to bring up the airplane movie. Yes, I am, and don't call me Shirley. That's right, because Otto, the autopilot from the airplane movie, has to be a robot. Okay, he is tangible. This is not just a program programmed into the plane. He had to be blown up. He was assembled. And I have to assume he's got an operating system. Otherwise, how in the hell can this guy pilot this plane? I mean, there's people puking. There's diarrhea all over the plane. And the only thing getting this plane to the ground is Otto. Now, you tell me that there's a more important robot in cinematic history than Otto, because Leslie Nielsen dies. No, Leslie Nielsen dies if Otto doesn't step in.
Whoa.
He's got to be programmed. They never allude to that. Unfortunately, the lore for Airplane is a bit minimal.
See that Otto has to be a robot. I would not he's an inflatable robot like
Betamax.
Betamax, like Big 6 or whatever that is.
Yeah, Big Hero 6. Yeah,
Big Hero 6. He is the 80s version of Big Hero 6. He is the Animal House version of Big Hero 6. Absolutely, that's the case. But the question is he more important than the boy and his robot, like the Iron Giant that's the real question for Tim. Like, Otto is definitely a robot. Good job, Mike. I love what you did there.
Thank you. I also want to point out that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar dies if this plane doesn't land.
Okay.
It's so good.
I picked the wrong day to quit sniffing glue.
Dies, Tim. Wait, no, he wasn't on the plane. I'm sorry. Yes, you did.
So here's the thing.
This has got to be the hardest choice.
Tim, hold on.
This is a crazy choice.
No, Mike, let me talk. Relax, Mike. Relax. All right. Don't ruin things. So here we go. Here's the very difficult thing, because I totally see Seppy's point, and if with his pick being sort of the inspiration that is, formed a genre over years, right? Like a very famous genre, because there's a robot on my list that is directly influenced by Seppy's pick. But you want to talk about formative childhood movies. As a child, I saw Airplane way before I had any business seeing Airplane. Now, I never thought of Otto as a robot, but I bet you Otto watched Gladiator movies, and I believe Otto also smoked a cigarette after doing something in that movie.
That was my introduction to Morgana the Kissing Bandits. Do you remember Morgana the Kissing Bandit?
Was she the well-endowed woman that would run out onto baseball, like sports fields and kiss people?
Right, and she's also the special set of assets for the Airplane movies. Why does the homosexual know so much about naked women's breasts in cinema? That's because stunning cinema teaches you things, Mike.
So, Seppy, at risk of alienating so many people in an entire culture, I've got to go with the Airplane reference. It's a bold go. It's a bold pick. I have to
creativity for this and thinking about it makes me want to know it. I know my nostalgia, but at least you acknowledge the importance of the genre with your later pick, and that therefore I am comfortable now hearing your rebuttal to Otto. Mike, you will get a chance to rebut him after he presents his robot. But who are you presenting for the number 9 spot?
I am picking a robot that most people probably don't even remember the name of. They may not even remember that there was a robot in this movie, but Mike, I'm not going to let you not remembering that there were robots, which was the fulcrum of the plot for Bill and Ted. You don't even remember that there were robots in Bill and Ted 2. And that is the whole reason that movie happens. But in the movie The Last Starfighter, when he goes up to space, they send a robot down that is scary as hell. Beta scared the shit out of me when I was a child because he had to form. He touches, there's like a little static electricity thing, and then he forms to look like, I forget his name now, the main character from The Last Starfighter. And then, even worse, is his little brother comes into the room and Beta's fixing his head, and the head's on the desk, and the head's like, go to bed. It was awesome. It was terrifying. It is one of my favorite 80s movies that like people my age generally get. That's Beta while he's growing. There's another scene with Beta a little later, but Beta is the man. Very cool. And it was go back to sleep. You're having a nightmare. Thank you, Nix. Thank you. Yeah. Go to bed or I'll tell Mom where you keep your Playboys. Yeah. So many great lines.
All right.
Mike, have you ever seen Last Starfighter?
No.
Okay.
You have to be our age or old. I'm older than Tim. You gotta be of a certain age to appreciate Last Starfighter. Tim is really like the Music Man is in and Toddy from Victor Victoria.
Centauri.
Toddy, and he is if I had a spirit animal actor from a certain era, it is the Music Man. Absolutely. So I really, really, really want to give it to you for that reason, Tim, because that hits all the things. But Mike was so creative in his pick, and he was so on point with what defines a robot. I think he followed the assignment matter. I think your reason for Beta being terrifying is absolutely go back to bed, Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis. That's right. Go back to bed, Lewis.
Alex or Lewis's name. That's a problem for me. So I'm gonna give it to Otto. Otto is a fantastic pick. Otto. And also, it's a statement that might happen later in somebody's list about robots and human relations. So we're gonna give. I would, in other circumstances, Tim, have picked Beta for your creativity, but Mike showed the most creativity with Otto as a pick because we know how small the pool of robots Mike is picking. I feel like it's very comfortable to give Mike this win because it might be his best robot on the list. It might be.
Oh wow!
I just appreciate that there were people, not just you, but people in the chat that also remember Beta, and then we're pulling the lines, like, because Last Starfighter, Mike, if you watch it now, it's not going to hold the same effect that if you saw it, when you were 8, 10, how, whatever. But like, the thing is the galaxy is under attack, and this guy Centauri has placed these arcade games throughout the universe, and it is a test and if you beat the game, you are entered into the Starfighter program. And then Centauri shows up in a basically kind of a DeLorean and takes you to space. And then you pilot ships to then fight the evil aliens that look like, they got like the blonde hair. They look like if Joffrey had lived long enough to, to grow up and be the asshole that he was.
You need to defend the frontier against Zur and the Kodan Armada, Mike.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Seppy.
All right, we got to roll for initiative. We're on to number 8.
Let's do
I have a win. Mike has a win. Let's see if Finn's going to win in the number 8 slot.
I've
never had an opportunity to do this. I'm good. I don't know if this will get the stream pulled down. It's on YouTube, so I mean, let's just see my number 8.
Oh no! Get that out of there. Get
see it in action.
Get that off of there. Come on now.
Mike, now you're just gloating.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We want to be fair. I got a 4.
What? I rolled a 5.
18.
All right. Mike, it's your decision. Who would you like to go up against with your number 8 at the top of the round?
Ooh, okay. I'll go up against Tim.
All right. You get to choose. Do you want the alpha strike, or do you want the rebuttal?
Ooh, I'll take the rebuttal.
All right, Tim, you're up. Now, come on, guys. I'm a guest who brought a game. Isn't this game fun?
I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it. Okay. So
mad props to Hungry Gamer who used this this format first, but I'm like, we're gonna play Giant Robots.
I can dig it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw a curveball at Mike and play a little dirty, because I bring you not one robot, I'll bring you 3 robots.
What?
Because this movie and these 3 robots blew my freaking mind, and it was one of the biggest whiffs in Disney history. I'm talking about Vincent, V-I-N Cent. I'm talking about Bob, and I'm talking about Maximilian from The Black Hole. One of the best, worst sci-fi movies ever made. Vincent and Bob were like cool little floating robots where they almost look like trash cans, and then the lids would pop up and they'd have the eyes. They were so cool. And then Maximilian was just the icon of terror, with like the saw blades, and this movie could have been so cool had they done it right. This is one that I wish they would redo. And when one of the robots doesn't make it, it's crushing. And we're talking Roddy McDowell voiced Vincent, Slim Pickens voiced Bob. This movie has Robert Forster, like way before he was anybody. I know I'm forgetting people.
Oh no.
But anyways, and Vincent, just so you know, stands for Vital Information Necessary Centralized. So, boom, The Black Hole. That's my. I'm throwing a grenade in there, and I really want to win number 8.
So you're doing the trio of robots, including Vincent and Maximilian. All right.
Well, Vincent would have been the one because that was Roddy McDowell, and that's the main one. But you can't talk about Vincent without talking about Bob and Maximilian. You just have to.
And the Black Hole and Tron is why Disney eventually spun off Touchstone as its own movie, because they were too off-brand, but making movies that were too good.
They were.
All right, Mike. It's time for the rebuttal.
My rebuttal. Well, it's not going to be the version of this robot that people would expect, but this just gives you an idea of where I'm at, I suppose, compared to you guys. I never saw the original, but I really appreciated Lost in Space, the remake on Netflix, and
Oh.
the role that the robot takes in this show, I think, is excellent. In fact, even basically saving that family and the survivors on that planet at times. Um, to then yeah, the way that ends up sort of changing towards the end of the series, I think is pretty wild. But yeah, B9 apparently is this guy's name. I don't think anybody ever refers to him as
He
that.
didn't have
Yeah,
a name in the original series, I don't believe. He was
he
always
does. He has
just
a distinction. Yeah, it's in my expansion, my post-apocalyptic game. But yes, you're right. It's B9. Um, all right. This is an excellent robot. It is an excellent choice of modernized robots, Mike. I commend you for this for all the reasons that you picked it. But Roddy McDowell, you have a robot who literally like personifies the idea that black holes are the gateway to hell, and you don't have movies like Event Horizon without the black hole. Like, this is such a genre setter, and so I have to give it to Maximilian and Roddy McDowell's portrayal, and it has to go to them. Yeah, Vincent in particular. Like, it is one of the first sad moments for a robot death in cinema, and so Tim had to have that one. There's no way I could do. I loved your choice though, Mike. I think it was a very solid choice, but where yours was like got you under first, Tim's was definitely a two-run homer. Like,
also
definitely
Anthony Perkins is in it. I mean,
it's incredible, and it tells you why we can't have cyborgs in this. It has about like a mad scientist's obsession. There's some Shakespearean stuff going on. The black hole is Event Horizon before Event Horizon.
It's terrifying.
It's terrifying, especially Disney producing. It's crazy. That movie's crazy.
It should not exist. I feel like a weird alternate timeline split off when Disney made that movie. And yeah.
Okay.
Also, if anybody's keeping track, I am not catering to Seppy as the judge by picking movies with gay icons. I swear. It's just coincidence.
All right. So it is my time to rebut Vincent. Now mine, I don't know if mine will be able to beat Vincent. It is another nostalgia pick from the kaiju genre, and it is, ready for this, Mike?
Yeah.
Jet Jaguar.
I have Jet Jaguar written down as one of mine. I was like, oh, Seppy, I almost used it this time.
It is Jet Jaguar from the Godzilla versus Ghidorah.
Megalon.
Yeah, it is. It is a great. So Jet Jaguar is a robot who, because of his AI, decides there he is. He is definitely a throwback to also Ultraman, that whole genre. He's one of the most important sidekick monsters for Godzilla. And the Netflix had an anime reboot where somebody was obsessed about it and brought like janky ass Jet Jaguar. It's such a niche choice, but Jet Jaguar is the robot version of Ultraman, and Ultraman, again, the rubber suit giant robot genre. That you cannot have so many of the things that we are talking about if you do not talk about Japan's impact on the giant robot genre.
So, Seppy, I have to tell a really funny story, and why Jet Jaguar specifically was on my list as a robot I was going to use. The first Godzilla movie I remember seeing, my dad bought it. We had the VHS, and it's Godzilla versus Megalon. And here's the thing. My sister's name is Megan, and so I joked about her being a giant cockroach because that's essentially what Megalon was.
Yeah.
And Godzilla is barely in this movie. It was actually supposed to be a Jet Jaguar movie, but then the producers were worried that Jet couldn't carry a movie, so they threw Godzilla in it as well. But I mean, Jet basically does all the cool stuff. All of that being said, I still think My Robot should win.
All right, Mike, it's up to you. It's Event Horizon versus the next iteration of the Boy and His Giant Robot and the Ultraman rubber suit kaiju. Like how much do kaijus sit in your mental zeitgeist?
Or black hole.
We keep this real simple. I mean, my last justification, pretty simple. We're going to stay with the same theme here. I've seen Jet Jaguar, so the other one I have not. So there we go. Jet Jaguar is the winner.
Oh my God, I can't believe I beat Vincent. Oh, upset. Oh my God, I took it with Jet Jaguar. But, you know, he did admit that Jet Jaguar was on his list, Mike.
He didn't.
Now he's on my shit list. Not for this one. I had him picked higher because I have more respect for Jet Jaguar.
Oh, well, I mean, he beat you to the punch. So, you know, there's.
Listen, if all of these are going to come down to characters that Mike has heard of, I'm hosed. It's just never going to happen.
No,
because I haven't named a movie that Mike has seen. He just was too high to remember that there were robots in it.
I'm very impressed that Mike had seen Jet Jaguar before. It's great.
That's fair. I shouldn't be mad about that. I'm just mad because I thought my black hole pick was going to be, that was an ace.
For sure. I did not. I love Jet Jaguar, obviously, but my two of the ones on my list had everything to do just with how important they are to me and those subgenres. All right. Everybody,
call Taylor Swift. I rolled a 13.
I will eventually change my justification for these, but
you're fine, Mike. You're fine. I'm just cranky because I'm losing. I'm competitive.
I got a 9.
I have an 8, but I got a clear die with white numbers. So
13.
Yeah, Tim, you get to pick who you want to face off against with your number 7.
I got to go against Mike. Mike, I want you to go first.
Oh, wow.
Good. All right. I've got a pretty good one here. And really, I picked this one. I've watched it, and I've actually watched it a few times, but it's been a while. And it's really because I just have really fond memories of watching this movie with a cousin who's like 20 years younger than me.
It's getting creepy.
Yeah, I know. So my number 7 is the Iron Giant.
Oh,
so maybe.
Good.
Yeah, the Iron Giant is even ends as a tearjerker, and what this giant, it actually cares. There's a lot of humans that struggle with empathy, but Iron Giant does not, and that's why it is near and dear to my heart.
My game processing has an ode to the Iron Giant in the form of the giant vegan robots called the Vegantors. So I understand the importance of the Iron Giant. So good. What a good pick, Mike. What a good pick.
I mean, you don't even have to take it from me. This person right here says one of the most powerful superhero movies ever made.
Yeah. Okay, Tim.
Because it's a robot that cares.
It is a robot that cares. It's so good. It is another Boy and His Robot in the Boy and the Robot genre, mind you.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm genre flipping. We got to get out of this genre. What's better than a robot? You didn't know was a robot until 3/4 of the way through the movie. Then it tries to murder you, vaguely sexually assault you. And I'm talking about Sigourney Weaver and Alien. I'm talking about Ash, played by Sir Ian Holm, a great English actor amongst an amazing cast. Just an all-star freaking cast. Ridley Scott, just an amazing movie. And the crazy twist when Ash is revealed not only as a villain, but as a robot, right? Like nobody saw that shit coming. And it's not until they bash him upside the head and his head starts to come off and milk is shooting out everywhere. It is incredible. It is, yeah, there you go. He's loyal, just like the Iron Giant, but he's loyal to the corporation and their goals. Wayland Yutani has a mission, and they're gonna do it. They're gonna see it to the end. God damn it! But yeah, Ash, this was a movie like I saw as a kid that freaked me out for completely different reasons, and then like as I've watched it in different stages of my life, it has meant different things, and you see the different meanings behind stuff. I mean, like when he rolls up the magazine and is like trying to jam it down Sigourney Weaver's throat, you're just like, what is happening? It's just bizarre. It's crazy. I love it. Ash is terrifying. Again, it is a twist for the ages. It is often duplicated, but never truly captures the soul of it. And I won't talk about the another one that could be on my list, but yeah, man, Ash is my number one with a bullet. Well, number 7 with a bullet.
Ash is such a good pick. I can't believe you only put him at 7. I had
to pull out a big gun because the freaking Iron Giant's coming after me. I gotta go big.
Yeah, no, it's really good. We've had some representation of the boy and his giant robot genre already. I feel like this is our first synthetic who shows up, and this is a critically important example of like why we had to argue over the definition of robots.
Yes.
Yeah, synthetics are a big part of this genre, and I think Ash is a fantastic pick. So I have to give it to Ash, and also that gives Tim a win. I need Tim to feel like a winner.
Well,
so yeah, okay, all right.
I'm still at Mike's mercy here, so
you are. So it's Ash versus my pick. All right, you cannot think about robots without thinking about droids, and if you're gonna pick a droid. The best droid in all of Star Wars is K2SO.
Oh, Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk steals every scene that he is in. He is a force in that movie, and you have real emotions about him making his own choice, putting the team's usefulness and the goals. A robot making moral choices like an Iron Giant. And so I put up Alan Tudyk as my best of Star Wars robots against your Ash, which is arguably the father of modern synthetic robots.
Both murderous and delight in abusing humans.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Mike, which of these two are you going to pick?
Well,
he's going to go Star Wars.
Tim gets a W on the board.
What?
I'm going with Ash from Alien.
I am shocked. I thought the second Seppy pulled out Star Wars, I'm like, well, just chalk up another L. Mike, please continue.
No, that's great. That's a great choice. Woo!
I am not an opinion of Star Wars that you should take with a whole lot of credibility. I know a lot of people really enjoy Rogue One, and for me, it was okay.
Thank you, Mike. Mike, you and I are in the same boat, but K2SO is my favorite part. I will say, though, that Andor is one of the best Star Wars Disney shows out there, and that was my least interesting character. Like, there were so many things that I wanted them to do with Rogue One that they didn't. They did kind of change some stuff at the end.
I love Rogue One. That movie ranks very high for me. But I stand by the judge's decision. I like what you did there, Mike. Like, Ash is so important to movies. People are bringing bombs to this. We have not had an overlap yet either. Just so many bombs. So our current score stream has me with 2 wins at 10 and 8, Mike with a win at 9, and Tim coming in big with Ash at number 7.
And David, I do Star Wars, but I don't have trivial knowledge of Star Wars.
As demonstrated by previous streams.
I am obviously trying to have represented on my list as many of the giant robot or robot genre as possible and how they matter to cinema or to the human question. And so that is absolutely acceptable. So let us roll for initiative for 6.
Okay. Wow.
12.
16.
19.
What?
19.
There you go.
All right. I'm gonna go up against Mike just got challenged first round, so I'm gonna challenge Tim first round. Tim, I'm gonna go with my pick first, just because it has to be represented. Okay. In the giant robot genre, you have transforming giant robots, you have megazords, and there is no more quintessential across the pond, world embracing than Voltron. The 5 lions with the 5 pets coming together. Even the Netflix animated reboot of this is so fantastic. It even has a non-binary character. It ends with the happiest gay marriage in all of animedom. It is fantastic, both as a nostalgia piece and as the revamp. And it had multiple revamps too. There's also like a CG version of it, but it's latest. People taking creativity to something that already existed, and adding another level of storytelling really is a statement in modernization and representation. So I'm going to put up Voltron, Defender of the Universe, as my pick for number 6. And representative of the transforming and assembling giant robot genre.
Okay. My pick, it's going to hit Seppy. It's going to hit Seppy in his home. I'm going to hit him right in his home. I'm going to drop a bomb right in his native state in Minnesota. In Minnesota, started on public television. I choose the witty banter of Crow T Robot from Mystery Science Theater 3000 to take on Voltron. And if I need to throw in Tom Servo and Gypsy, I will.
Wow, that's playing dirty. That's playing dirty, Tim. Obviously, that is also another excellent choice. Oh,
built
my God.
by Joel Hodgson, and helps thwart the weekly experiment set to them by the mad scientist Dr. Clayton Forrester. And I like to think of always it being like TV's Frank. I don't really go too much into the other hosts, even though the new one on Netflix was pretty good with Jonah. But I'm a Joel guy. I like some Mike, but I'm really, really, really a Joel guy. And Crow, it was always my favorite, even though Tom Servo's usually had funnier lines.
All right, Tim. I'm gonna let you know something.
Uh-oh.
Fight in a Box, of course, my business partner for the last 11 years has been Bob Siebold, who owns Tower Games in Minneapolis. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Bob has 3 IMDb credits.
Uh-oh.
All MST3K episodes.
No! I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous that I have met, I am 2 degrees removed from MST3K.
Yeah, he was a grip on 3 MST3K episodes. So yeah, it was 2000, 3000. All right, Mike, it is now your time to do your judgment. Voltron, the assembling, transforming giant robot genre that continues to be an update, or the wisecracking Tom Servo and Crow.
From Minnesota. Gizmonic Institute.
I am so sorry, Seppy, but Tim wins this on a landslide.
No!
It's Mystery Science Theater. A huge fan. Absolutely.
All right,
that's
great. You do not have to apologize at all. You can say, I'm a huge fan. That makes sense to me. Like, I feel like I'm giving very substantial and approachable arguments for my giant robots, but let's go. Mike, what is your rebuttal to Crow?
Okay, well, I said that I would have some video game robots, and nobody is going to know this robot. So let me go ahead and just start out with the universe. We're going to the Fallout universe.
Oh, I know the Fallout universe.
The Fallout universe, I could do a whole top 10 of robots from Fallout. It is rife with robots. So Fallout is basically a video game franchise that came out in the 80s. There were two of them. They were top-down kind of sort of RPG type games. And the whole premise was it was this 1950s
Don't
art
forget Fallout
deco,
Tactics, Tim.
I played Fallout. I'm letting Mike tell the story.
Where the world gets bombed in 2077, and the solution to it is everybody goes into a vault for 150 years. Then they come back out to a nuked world, and they rebuild civilization. I just love that it's this 1950s Art Deco, winged cars, tube TVs, TV dinners thing. I just love that. So my number 7 robot is what is called a Protectron. This is specifically the insult bot from Fallout 76. So Fallout 76 is the most recent Fallout game that took place in West Virginia. Very magical place, by the way. And Tektrons are service robots. They tend to be security guards, police officers, merchants, and that sort of thing. Not this Protectron. Insult Bot's job is to roam Appalachia, and he is a random encounter, and his sole purpose is to insult you every time you see him. And his insults just get better and better every time you see him. So,
Seamus is on with us. All right. Okay. Let's talk about him. Okay, so he is a derivative of Robbie from Forbidden Planet. The original the original actual mechanical robot that did all that kind of stuff. Which used to make whiskey, by the way, that in the Forbidden Planet it does. You're going to lose, Mike, because that robot is literally the worst part, the only good part of 76. Fallout is that is such an upsetting addition to the Fallout genre. Ron Perlman, and if you had taken the ones like War Never Changes, if you had started with that and you had picked any of the other robots, you would have had a much better chance. But 76 has got a lot of problems, and the insult bot is fantastic, but he is a light spot in a dark turd. And so we are going to go with Crow, which we all agree should be celebrated, right, Mike? Crow should be absolutely. We're going to go with Tim and Crow. Woo! Crow. Okay.
I mean, but we didn't even get into insults. I considered attacking you on sight, but I don't think I could hurt you more than life already has.
Those are all fantastic, but it's guilt by association. Yeah, he's the only good thing with Semi. See, I cannot condone the worst chapter in Fallout. I cannot do it. All right. So we're at the midpoint. We have Tim with the lead, having both 7 and 6 under his belt, coming back strong. We have me in second place with both 10 and 8. And then we have Mike closely in third with number 9. Okay.
But so far, Mike still has the most creative win on the list.
Oh, no, it's fantastic. Mike has been downplaying it. I think he's been soft selling us on this. He's been thinking about this. I think Mike is really represented in this. Mike is on the fact that Mike might not be able to do it. And so I'm he's totally representing.
I was just gonna say, Jameis, you got any leftover 76 merch you want to get rid of? I'll give you my address and PayPal. I mean, seriously, yes, 76 was the worst version of Fallout, and I played it more than all of the others combined.
Oh my
Were you
god!
just like hoping it got good or what? I'm just kidding.
No, when you can play Fallout online with your buddies.
Oh, sure.
You can't do that with the others. So
gotcha.
It's sort of true. All right, so let's go. We're rolling for number 5.
12 again. I'm consistent.
Man, I'm off.
I got a 4.
Jeez. Hold on a second. I got to get caught up with my numbers here. We're on 5 already. I have 14.
You're first.
Why do I always get the warped one?
it's warped.
Okay, Mike, it's your call. Who do you want to go up against? And do you want the Alpha Strike or the rebuttal?
I will go against Seppy. And nobody's done this, so I'll go first.
I Alpha Striked once, but go on.
All right. Okay. So, all right, let's get serious about our Fallout robots. I tried to sneak in the insult bot, and I even came up with a well-crafted, witty masterpiece of an insult. Then I saw you and decided to save it for someone who would understand. So I'm going with Liberty Prime. Liberty Prime is the most beast robot in the Fallout universe. This is the robot that was going to liberate Anchorage, Alaska from the attacking Chinese, because this thing is literally 4 stories tall. It has a laser that shoots out of its eye, and it is capable of launching nukes by hand. What else needs to be said? Well, a little bit, so I'll go ahead. In Fallout 4, one of my favorite things about the ending of that game is how many different versions of that ending you could get. Fallout 3 was the same way, but Fallout 4 was actually my favorite because there was the Brotherhood of Steel that kind of represented the military, and they, of course, were housing Liberty Prime and protecting it and keeping it functioning for when that attack might happen. But there was the Institute, which was creating these robots called synths that were actually robots that had like flesh over them, and they were using them as spies and slave labor. But see, the Brotherhood wanted to eliminate these synths because of, well, they thought synth would be, yep, we're doing Fallout twice. That's how amazing this game franchise is.
More importantly, Alaska bingo, but yeah.
Yeah, Alaska bingo. Yes, you're right. And so anyway, there's another ending where you take this robot and you escort it to the Institute, and it just blows up this huge structure. But you can also side with the Institute, and you can hack into Liberty Prime at the end of the game. There's even another faction called the Railroad that thinks that synths are living, breathing organisms that deserve to be saved and have their own freedom, and they actually go in and save Liberty Prime.
What a weird twist for the Railroad, who famously enslaved people to build railroads, to then, 300 years later, adopt this philosophy where synthetic people are people and should have freedom. Really interesting. Okay, go on.
Right. There you go. That's mainly it. Liberty Prime is just a beast of a robot. He basically walks around with just this super intimidating voice saying like, "Communist target acquired. Death is a preferable alternative to communism. Democracy is non-negotiable." He just walks around with these over-the-top, overly patriotic, anti-communist sayings. It's pretty epic when you finally get to see Liberty Prime. It's pretty epic.
Okay. As far as video game robots, that's obviously a good choice. We had an underrepresentation of psychedelic robots and alternate robots, and in particularly anime robots. And so I'm going to put forward Evangelion Unit 1 from Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Wow, now, I've heard of this one.
Yeah, all right. So, long story short, it's a story about God trying to wipe out the human species, and the human species fights back against God by making zombie robots out of the angels. You don't know this until way end. The thing is, it starts like it is your standard boy and his robot genre, and it goes to someplace so existential and so trippy in the 90s ending sort of way. Everybody had to have an Akira-esque, like, ask yourself about yourself ending, and Evangelion has one of these for that. And you can still hear people get T-shirts that say, get in the robot, Shinji. Obviously, that's Unit 1. But Unit 0 is the robot that absorbed, the angel robot that absorbed Shinji's mother. And so for that, I'm going to put forward redefining the giant robot genre, redefining, like, putting things back on the head in a very sort of Japanese economy, like the things that we are taught to succeed aren't true. My father's abusing me. That kind of, like, all these kind of stuff there. I'm going to put down Evangelion, Eva Unit 0.
Oh my God. That is so bizarre. I'm really torn because I really, 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 really enjoy the, what I would see. And unfortunately there are people that would not see it this way, but the parody that is Mike's robot, right? You know, spouting democracy, you know, with an iron fist, which sadly does not feel like parody anymore at times. But I also love, Mike knows this about me. I love things that push genre, push boundaries. You know what I mean? Like, borderline offend the senses, like really make you question things. But I'm wondering though, if they are incorporated from zombie angels, is the
they
celestial...
are a robot exoskeleton that uses neurological signals to get the zombie angel flesh to move. And at the core of it, they have to shove, like, pilots who were born at the moment of the apocalypse.
Wow.
Into the spine of the zombie so that the robot exoskeleton can control it.
I really want to pick. Here's my problem is I really, really, really liked Mike's. I really want to pick Mike's, but Seppy's is so bizarre and weird that I have a really hard time going against that. Mike, I really loved your pick. Mike, your pick was amazing. It was fantastic, but I think I have to go with Seppy because it's so bizarre, dude. I genuinely apologize because when Seppy went anime, I was like, I'm out. I'm not a big anime guy. Like, right. I appreciate its importance and what it does, but like, there's a style to anime.
We had to have one, like, anime giant robot win. Thank you so much. I love that Ava 01.
But it is that it mixes all of these things that I love to see combined, and just, you know, like, so I've got to go with that. Mike, my genuine apology, dude. I really,
you're good.
No, that was a good choice. That was a good choice. So
I feel like I'm just going to be throwing an old pancake up against this pick because I don't know how you beat that.
No, you're good. I'm actually just really glad to hear that there's other Fallout fans in the chat. Fallout 3 was my first one, and just, you know, I like Bethesda open world sandbox games anyway. Elder Scrolls, amazing. It's just the universe of Fallout that just sucks me in. I just love that world, and again, that 1950s Art Deco. The soundtracks for all those games, I love.
I don't know how many weeks I just had I don't want to set the world on fire just constantly.
Oh, nice.
All right, Tim. What's your rebuttal for 5?
Okay.
I will add one thing real quick, and then I'll leave Fallout. There is a Fallout series coming to Prime Video in April. So just a couple short months. I can't wait. It looks pretty good. I hope they do it justice.
Okay, so do I. Okay.
Oh,
Tim, what you got?
So I kind of lied when I said that, or I misspoke, I should say, when I said that I didn't have a robot from television. Because the version of my robot, even though he is represented on film and done very well, I still love the BBC 80s TV version of Marvin, the paranoid android from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And the reason I'm going to put Marvin up against this anime is because if Marvin loses, he'd be like, it was going to happen anyways. And he'd be fine with it. So
this version, then.
That's that version. Nothing wrong with the Alan Rickman amazingly voiced version in the 2006, 2007 movie. With Martin Freeman and Zooey Deschanel and Sam Rockwell, like amazing, great cast. And Malcolm McDowell, right? Yeah. Or not Malcolm McDowell. Not John Malkovich. That's what I'm thinking of. Is the villain. Super fun cast. But the BBC version is one of my all-time favorite books of all time, like series of novels. Douglas Adams was brilliant. Marvin is amazing. He literally like shuts down operating systems by boring them, like making them so depressed that they kill themselves because he just talks to them. Marvin is amazing. He is just, he's the best. He is the best. He refuses to be cheered up. He's the most depressed character in literature and cinema of all time. Marvin, the paranoid android, is my number 5.
Mike. You have to make the decision.
Sorry, Jameis. I also do enjoy Red Dwarf, but I had to go with Marvin.
Well, Tim knows his judge because Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is one of my favorite books I ever read. Ooh. And I didn't enjoy the movie.
Okay.
I forgot about the BBC series. Somebody mentioned it the last time we talked about Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and I really need to watch it. So I have to give this one to Tim just for the Hitchhiker's reference.
All right. I feel it. I definitely feel it.
Mike, if you can't find that BBC series to stream, I do have it on DVD somewhere.
That's nice. The most amazing thing anyone said all week.
It is. It is. Yeah, easy with those BBCs there, Tim.
I know it.
So yeah, it's $1.99 an episode on Prime Video. Besides that, I don't know where else to watch it. So
I believe that the original show covers the first 2 books. I think.
David Brown, Kit would count. Kit identifies as a robot and their body. There's no rule that the body has to be humanoid shaped. Kit has control of all of his doors. He does other things. Kit would definitely count as a robot for this competition. All right. Well, Tim is up huge with 3 wins in the middle. 7, 6, and 5.
Also, fun trivia fact: if you watch that original Hitchhiker's series, there's a man who strips off all his clothes and runs into the ocean naked. That is Douglas Adams. So
nice.
Seppy, are you a Hitchhiker's fan?
Yes. Yeah, Douglas Adams, fantastic. Let us roll for initiative, everybody.
16.
Number 4, and I got a 12.
15.
16. Whoop whoop.
Sam, who do you want to go against, big dog? With 3 wins
dude.
in the middle.
I want to go after Seppy again.
Whoa. Rebuttal or straight up?
I'm going to go straight up. Guns blazing.
Oh, you lead.
There are robots in this movie that, Mike, you may have forgotten were in this movie. That's not a dig at you. But I've never seen robots done like this in any movie until I saw Interstellar, and I saw Case and TARS, the robots that look like solid blocks, but then like the legs come out and they like freaking walk and they move. You can adjust their humor level from 0 to 100. Interstellar to me is a very underrated Chris Nolan movie. Matthew McConaughey, yeah, there they are. They're badass looking. They look so cool when they start moving. They're crazy. I love it. I've never seen robots conceptualized like this. Very cool. And yeah, I don't even know how to like describe them. They just like, I remember going to see this movie in like viscerally. One of my grandparents.
Literally, the best way to describe them is Minecraft the robot.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Seriously. That is exactly how they are.
But they're awesome.
Interesting choice for 4. Like if you had given that at 9, that is obscure and weird, like and whatever. I don't think it gets to play.
Seems like a reach.
Cool.
So here's the thing. Is those robots are freaking underappreciated and needed a light shined on them. And
yeah,
if I would have,
that's not a 4. That's hold on. Top 3 robot.
Hold on. Let me just read you a list of robots they would have lost to had I named them earlier. Maria from Metropolis, they would have lost. Yeah. Otto from Airplane, they would have lost. They would have lost to Jet Jaguar.
They would have lost to Jaguar.
They would have lost to Ash from Alien. Yeah, they would have lost to Crow T Robot.
They would have.
And they would have lost to Marvin, the paranoid android.
They would have.
This is my choice. I will die on this hill. These robots are awesome.
Softball before he literally just admitted that he threw heavy hitters up higher in the list to try to win. I
still have the heaviest hitters coming.
I like the strategy. Nobody hits heavier at this category than the T-1000. We have Arnold Schwarzenegger being the Terminator, right?
He's not the T-1000. Arnold's not the T-1000.
Oh, is he the T-100?
He's the T-800. Robert Patrick's the T-1000.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's T-100. We've got the T-100. We've got Arnold Schwarzenegger as the T-100. Yes, absolutely. Give me your boots, your clothes, and your motorcycle. Like, when you get to see his operating system and
800, yes.
And he's like, fuck off, asshole. Like, this is very important stuff. Oh.
Wow.
It's genre-defining, time-traveling robots. Arnold Schwarzenegger going, hey, I just need to be a presence on a screen. Not acting, can be acting. It is fantastic. Like, terrifying. Linda Hamilton. Strong female leads.
Michael Biehn.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like, James Cameron shows up again with the robots. I think the T-800 will really speak for himself.
Listen, T-800 is cool, but it's constantly outshined by other robots in every Terminator sequel following, even though they're all, with the exception of Terminator 2, they're all bad. But even in Terminator 2, the T-1000 is 10 times cooler.
He literally comes back. The T-800 comes back literally and saves the day each time. Like, the T-800 is the most fantastic in the series, obviously, and iconic. Mike, what is your decision?
This is very easy. Come with me if you want to live.
Yeah,
the Terminator. I mean, it's one of the more iconic robots.
I like the T-800 is obviously the way to go.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. What do you got against the T-800?
Well,
Mike, I threw you a bone, and you should have picked mine just so you'd have an easier one to beat. Clearly, Seppy was not impressed with my pick. You should have played the game, brother.
Well, I wasn't either. So I just went with the honest pick here. So my number 4 might be a little bit of a reach for those Star Wars fans. But if you're somebody that maybe got into Star Wars more recently, I think you could totally understand why somebody might love IG-11 from The Mandalorian.
Because IG-11 is a definite T-800 cousin. Those two obviously come from the same family tree.
The thing about IG-11 is that he starts on the same mission that Mando does, because he's also looking to collect that bounty for Grogu. But then they realize all their mercenaries are trying to do the same thing, so they end up working together. But then he ends up becoming destroyed. But he's the whole reason Grogu survives. Without Grogu, I am sorry, there is no Mandalorian. There is no Mandalorian without Grogu. You may not like that. That is the truth, however. Then at the end of season 3, when they reconstruct it and Grogu is on it, pounding the button for it to go, no, no, no. I've never laughed so hard in any Star Wars anything than I did than Grogu writing IG-11. So I think that alone makes it easily my favorite droid.
So here's the thing. This is really tough because IG-88, the original assassin droid from Empire Strikes Back, which is the same basic model as IG-11, was not Boba Fett, my favorite bounty hunter in Empire Strikes Back. Like as a kid, I was like, what is that thing? I love it. Also, while Arnold is awesome, IG-11 is voiced by the wonderful Taika Waititi, who is fantastic, and I love him in everything. I've got to go with IG-11. I really would love.
Nice job, IG-11. Taika Waititi is absolutely a time-traveling assassin robots, a genre-defining again. You see me pick all these genre-defining robots. All right, Mike, I like that. You're back in it, buddy.
I'm sorry, I didn't pick Terminator.
It's okay. It's okay. Okay. Let's roll for initiative for number 3, everybody. We're down to the top 3 robots. The competition is really close with Mike with 2, Seppy with 2, Tim with 3. Okay.
Don't let that affect your judgment. I rolled a nat 20.
Whoa. I got a 16.
Got the dragon icon on here. Okay. All right, let's go into it. Just get right into it. I'm going to pick a badass robot from a badass movie. We're going Paul.
Who are you going up against first?
Oh, yeah. Who am I going against? I'm going to go against Seppy. Let's do it, Seppy. I'm excited about this pick. I want to go first.
Okay.
I want to talk about Paul Verhoeven's RoboCop. And no, I'm not talking about Alex Murphy, RoboCop himself. I'm talking about his greatest nemesis, Ed 209, the giant bipedal robot with guns, failure to comply, that constantly is malfunctioning and just blowing away innocent people. Ed 209 is a badass. I love him. He can't walk downstairs, and he makes weird mewling noises when he falls over. But he also has like a cool Jaguar's roar when he's blowing people away. Ed 209, badass. I love him.
The design for Ed is just 209 is just fantastic. Like he looks like a death machine. So good.
Yeah.
Just so good.
What better than to police? What better way to police the future streets of Detroit?
Yeah, I'm from Detroit originally, and Ed 209 sort of spoke to me about the fascist covert. All right. All right. Are we ready for my pick? Okay. Yes. I am picking the loader from Aliens. Sigourney Weaver strapped into power armor to take on the Queen. When all is set aside, we are going to talk about practically the greatest practical effects movie of all time. Mike, that means where you don't use any CG. This is the greatest practical effects movie of all time, and this is the pinnacle fight between two practical monstrosities. Sigourney Weaver in the armor, like when she's dodging the inner mouth of the Queen in this armor, you feel her like hurting herself against the steel cage. Like she is having to be creative. She hits the blow to the plasma torch on it. Like, I didn't even know the thing had a plasma torch. All simultaneously while still being a woman and a mother to an orphan.
So here's the thing. Seppy, this is what I have to say to you regarding my potential victory with this is get away from her, you bitch. I'm about to win this. Here's the other thing. I don't believe that the loader has its own AI. I believe that the loader is strictly its own vehicle, which then disqualifies you immediately.
No, it has its own operating system. She has to key it up, and she has to know how to control it. It is in the rules. It is an operating system like anything else. Mike.
Wow. Well, I'm not going to deviate from my original picks because of the research that went into them. But Jameis is right. If I knew mechs were allowed, I would have snuck some power armor here, and we'd be talking about 3 things from Fallout. Wow.
The loader has not intelligence. It's just a suit. Oh, even Gateway's hitting Seppy on this one.
Wow.
Evan says he picks the Nintendo Power Glove from the Wizard because now that is obviously legal.
I'm gonna give it to the loader because
what? That's a bullshit pick.
Well, it was part of the rules, right? We did say it could be
that's a bullshit pick. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead so you can sleep comfortable on your couch tonight.
The reason being is that a malfunctioning robot killing civilians doesn't really seem like that.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
All right. Mike, what is your pick against the giant, like Sigourney Weaver, Seven Scheme, and the piloting the robot? We have a lot of robot pilots in this. She's piloting a robot.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
I drive a forklift at work. Does that mean I drive a robot every day?
Tim, you get to judge. Like, this is why we have this system. If you're like,
yeah, it doesn't work. And it's lose-lose. I either reward you for your terrible pick or I reward him for his terrible judgment. It's lose-lose.
It sounds like, Mike, tell us who you got, Mike. I love a little, like, the competition is serious when it has a controversy at the end. Like,
I love it. Fierce. I'm here for it.
I know you love Sigourney Weaver, and I know you love that loader, Tim. I know you do.
I do. Sigourney Weaver in her underwear during my formative years. Mike, what do you got?
Okay. Well, I had to go ahead and sneak one of my favorite shows of all time in here. So that's why we're going with FunnyBot from South Park. So there's nothing more important, no more important quality in a robot than having a sense of humor. So why did FunnyBot even come into existence? You see, South Park Elementary had a comedy award show, which Jimmy Vollmer was giving out. And at the end of the award show, he declared that the Germans are the least funny country in the world. So the Germans, in retaliation, decided to prove how funny they are as a country of very proud people. They would not take this insult sitting down. That the Comedy Award voters have brought shame upon themselves, and the Germans redeemed themselves with the FunnyBot. The FunnyBot was basically Mad Lib the robot. It would basically just take a sentence, put a blank in, verb, name, adjective, and it would spit something out. And some of the things they came up with, no, I can't go with Awesome Bob because that is Cartman inside of a cardboard box.
Exactly.
He would not qualify.
An important distinction. An important
distinction because Osimo definitely would have won had he been eligible. But instead, I am FunnyBot, who would say things like, "Don't you just hate doing homework?" Yeah, me too. I hate homework. Honestly, I hate having to do homework. more than I hate having to do Bryant Gumbel in his asshole. I am Funny Bot. Awkward. That was Funny Bot's delivery. So Funny Bot actually went on a series of tours, and he got less and less funny, more and more serious. And as we all know, every South Park episode has two plots going simultaneously, and the side plot of this one was that logic does not belong in comedy, which is why a robot should not be funny. But he tried, and then he started getting worse with his comedy, and then ended up basically shooting everybody inside of the theater that came to see him, and he thought that was funny because it was a non sequitur. So there you go.
Okay,
Funny
so
Bot.
here's the thing: is you eliminated mine because it was a malfunctioning robot that killed civilians. And you now have the balls to pose to me a robot that shoots a theater of innocent people?
But Tim, Funny Bot comes up with jokes like, I wouldn't let Adam Sandler suck my saggy tits for
Just
1
for
million
the record,
of Oprah's tampons. See,
but
awkward.
FunnyBot includes parts of Ed 209.
Nice.
Yeah, and includes Star Wars parts, Dalek parts, and the interrogation robot from Star Wars. Like, it is amalgamation of all these other robots, that so forth and whatnot. But Tim, what is your decision, FunnyBot or the Power Lifter? It's Sigourney Weaver and the Power Lifter.
I hate this so much. I hate this so much because, on principle, I have to eliminate Mike for the same reason he eliminated mine, that I have to go with Seppy by default.
That's a win.
I'll take the three. I'll take it. Is yes, Sigourney Weaver. Yes, yes.
And also Sigourney Weaver, just an absolute goddess for all time. I love her.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Just showing, honestly, like how, and this is a thing I didn't even realize as a kid. But it's amazing when you go back and watch now, is you see her, a female lead, and she's never like the final girl though. She's a badass like the whole time. She's the smartest character in every movie, and nobody listens to her, and they all pay for it.
And they all pay for it.
She's amazing.
Absolutely, and I love strong female protagonists. I absolutely do, and I
1,000,000%.
I also love rolling for initiative. Everybody, let's roll for initiative for number 2.
I'm so bad. Another 20. This is the best die ever.
I got a 3.
4.
Okay. Tim, you get to make your decision.
Well, since I shit the bed last time, Mike, I want to go against you, and I want you to go first.
Whoa.
Well, I think it's funny you picked me. It is so funny that you picked me.
Oh, no.
Because I went with something you already picked, but higher, because I went with Servo for my number 2.
Servo!
I absolutely love Mystery Science Theater 3000. I like the originals. I love the Gauntlet that they did on Netflix. The Gauntlet was absolutely amazing. In fact, it may be my favorite MSTK episode of all time is when they rip on Mac and Me.
Mac and Me is so good. It's so good.
Oh my God. That one just did me in. I just die from that one. So you remember how they have that really super awkward party that is clearly just like a McDonald's advertisement. Like,
and they're all naked in the McDonald's? Yeah.
It's a 4-minute party where they're literally just so just the awkwardness of that movie. And then they have just all these strange targeted ads, like there's Coke all over the place. And then you get Servo saying things like, when things happen, he just randomly inserts, "Get that kid a Coke." And I just I crack up every time he does it. One of my other favorite things that we can all relate to that Servo says in the Mac and Me episodes is when something happens to the kid, he says, he was only 2 bucket points away from a free personal pan pizza. Great stuff. Servo's also got some really old comments like, to me, every bra is a wonder bra. I love that one. This one is a little bit of Servo and Crow, but this is all the way back to when they did Time Chasers. And Servo starts talking like Scooby-Doo. Hello, I'm Rhino Hitchcock, the director of this film. Crow says he's got a bucket of crotch-flavored popcorn.
Nice.
There you go. I brought a few quotes, but Servo is my favorite. I love the Gauntlet. The Gauntlet was hilarious.
Hey,
all right, Tim, what do you got?
Listen, Tom Servo is on the Mount Rushmore of robots. He is truly amazing, Mike. Yeah, and I'm gonna offer up my pick because again, I'm going with another underrated movie by an underrated director who should have, funny enough, also directed an Alien movie, but it got taken away from him by Ridley Scott. I'm going to go with Chappie, the sentient robot that all he wanted to do was to learn how to be a human. We talk about Johnny Five being alive. Chappie is even better, except he gets like taken by a couple of hoodlums, like that crazy South African group. They're really, really weird. But anyways, Chappie's awesome. I believe Sigourney Weaver is also in this movie.
I'm sorry. What movie is this?
Chappie. It's called Chappie.
Oh. Okay.
This is a deep cinema nerd pick.
Chappie's a badass. I love Chappie.
I like Chappie much better than Elysium.
Yes. And the same kind of robots.
Yeah, I love District 9.
District 9 is the best, and it's kind of been downhill since then, but Chappie's underrated. Sorry.
Yeah, Chappie is really, really good. But you already admitted that Tom Servo is on the Mount Rushmore of robots, and this means we're going to have a dead heat at the end, potentially, because then Mike will have 3, I will have 3, and you will have 3, and I love the suspense. And Chappie is a good pick. But Chappie is not on the Mount Rushmore of robots. And so it's going to go to Tom Servo. MC3K is definitely comedy robots are really ruling the top 10. Chappie is great. Chappie is great. But Tom Servo is Tom Servo.
I ain't mad. About that one.
Can't be mad about that.
No, hell no.
My number 2 is Maeve from Westworld.
Ooh,
the most powerful female replicant in the history of replicants. Maeve, who is exploring what it means to be human, and
that's the Tandy Newton one, right?
Yeah, and really brings to light the question that you have to have fading memory to survive the human condition. And if you want to have perfect memory to survive the human condition, you have to be something superhuman. Maeve is an incredible arc, played by an incredible actress, most powerful character in Westworld by a lot. Unexpected twists. And since replicants need to be represented in this top 10, that type of robot, Maeve from Westworld is my choice. Naked robots. You get to see a lot of Maeve.
You do get to see a lot of Maeve and all the other robots also in Westworld. Here's the weird thing about Westworld. I had some problems with the storytelling in it. Now I've only watched the first 1.5 seasons. But Maeve is by far my favorite character. Ed Harris, always supremely watchable, and interesting. Jeffrey Wright is an amazing actor, and the plot twists and the turns there. If you would have said Yul Brynner from Westworld, you would have had my vote, but I've got to go with Tom Servo because I like a boy and his giant robot have to go to my childhood and the formational things.
Yeah.
As a kid, I was staying up till midnight watching MST3K on whatever channel that I could find it on. And then when Comedy Central started airing it, I was a card carrying member of the MST3K fan club. I have a MST3K guidebook. It would have taken, I could think of one robot, and it's my number one, to have pulled me away from an MST3K robot. And I also apologize because I jumped on Crow way early with the possibility that Mike could have used that one, but he went Tom. Tom Servo arguably is funnier than Crow, but I always was drawn to Crow more for some reason. I don't know why. But Tom with the gumball body and the slinky arms.
More importantly, we have a 3-way tie coming here into the final robot.
But Maeve, like, bravo, because
like I picked genre-defining robots and female performances. All right, let us roll for initiative. The final
14,
thing.
14.
22.
All right, Mike, who is your challenger?
Oh boy. Well, we're gonna have the host duke it out here, and then Seppy gets to take on the winner.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You went first or second?
I'll let you go first.
Oh, you sweet summer child. You fool. Hold on. Let me do this properly because I only wrote down part of this and I should have written down the whole thing. Because there is one most important robot in all of cinema. It is the best portrayal on screen, hands down. Roy Batty. I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I've watched C-beams glitter in the dark near the Tannhauser Gate. All of those moments will be lost to time, like tears in the rain. Yeah. So freaking good, genre-defining. Rutger Hauer as the lead replicant in Blade Runner. I mean, he steals a movie from Harrison frickin' Ford, one of the greatest actors of our generation. Rutger Hauer is who everybody talks about. Roy Batty. I know everybody's like Deckard, but Deckard is not confirmed a replicant. Roy Batty, 1,000,000% is. He's got this amazing arc where he goes through and he questions his creator, destroys his creator at the end, you know, after trying to justify his own life and his existence and why can't he live longer. It's incredible. And there are amazing performances from all of the replicants, Pris and Leon. I mean, they're all great, but Roy Batty is the best ever. He was my number one with a bullet from the start. I was like praying that nobody would say Roy Batty before I got to say Roy Batty because he is the best. He is sinister. Yet he spares Harrison Ford, and you question why.
Why?
It's amazing. It's amazing.
That's a great choice.
It's just one of the best. It's just one of the best performances in movie history.
Fantastic performances, and
oh my god!
And of course, replicants have one of my favorite lines in any movie. Mother, I'll tell you about my mother. Which is what's a turtle?
Yeah. That's Leon's line at the beginning.
You know what a turtle is? Same thing. All right.
When they're giving him the Voight Kampf test at the beginning.
Yeah. All right. Mike, who do you have to compete against Roy?
Well, to match the demeanor of my pick, Yeah, I really just kind of went with my all-time favorite robot here. And if Jameis is still in our chat here, I think he'll have my back. Otherwise, I may be on my own island here. But my favorite robot comes from my favorite video game franchise. This might be the funniest robot of all time, and it is Claptrap from the Borderlands franchise.
Oh.
Claptrap School.
See, in Borderlands 1, Claptrap comes out, and he's just the guy who's the tutorial. He's like, here's how hey, I'm Claptrap. He introduces himself. He's got this sort of annoying voice. And he's just this tiny little unassuming robot on a one wheel, box and a couple arms and one eye. And he just starts you out as the tutorial. He tells you how to run and jump and shoot. And you'd think that's really the only time you're going to see Claptrap, but then he becomes the best character in all of the Borderlands games because they made a 1, they made a 2, they made a pre-sequel, they made a 3, and they made a Tiny Tina's. Claptrap is in all of these. So he is
and the board game.
5. There's a board game now. There's a card game as well. Claptrap is one of the main reasons why Borderlands is so relevant because he's hilarious. And you can't help but feel bad for him because he starts by telling you things about how he threw a birthday party for himself and nobody showed up. Like, you're feeling terrible for him. And in fact, in the first Borderlands, he's actually borderline annoying. In fact, he is annoying. And you're like, oh my gosh. And you're like, are they going to bring Claptrap back for the second one? And then they just continued to improve his dialogue as it goes on. By Borderlands 2, he's wrote a dubstep song, and he goes around Pandora, the main city, just going, wub, 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 over and over and over. Hey, you want to hear the new dubstep song I wrote? Wub, wub, wub. And he just keeps doing it and doing it. I'm dancing. He's just got a ton of classic lines. At one point, I don't remember which game it is. If you die, he says, I'm going to teabag your corpse. There's another boss battle he warns you about where enemies will be flying out of the walls, and he says, they're going to be coming out of the wall, sphincters. There are other characters that speak down on Claptrap and say things like, apologies, but when Claptrap speaks, I can feel my brain cells committing suicide. He's just the robot you can't help but love. And there will be a Borderlands movie. I believe it comes out late this year, maybe early next year. Tim, would you like to know who is voicing Claptrap in this movie?
I would love to know.
Jack Black is voicing Claptrap in the Borderlands movie. I cannot wait to hear him say things like, they say Drax's drilling operations is making all of Pandora shake. Either that or your mom just got out of bed. Zing! So I need to hear Jack Black say these types of things, and my life will be complete. Claptrap is by far my favorite robot.
Sounds a little blackjack. Do you ever think about that, Tim?
He does.
So I bought Claptrap or Borderlands Yahtzee, and it came with this as a dice cup.
Oh, nice.
So that's my biggest Claptrap. I could have gotten them all out, but it would have taken a while. I have roughly 12 or 13 different Claptrap models, most of which are Funko Pops, in different attire. But yeah, I love me some Claptrap.
All right. So I love the fact that if we lined up all the choices, we can see who picked which. And Mike was very consistent. Like, comedy robots and surprise comedy robots were his go-to for every robot. Like, you want to sell Mike on a robot, that robot's got to be funny, right? like Tamzar played like fantastic performances that question what it means to be human for the robot. It's fantastic. Now, Claptrap is fantastic and one of the best video game robots of all time, clearly. But I think video game robots cannot compare to cinema robots, and so it has to go to Roy. Yeah, Roy is obviously the most fantastic of these choices. Okay, and so, but Claptrap, yeah.
Mike, have you seen Blade Runner?
I don't know if it's got a lot of long pauses, and I don't know if it's. We want to work Mike up to Blade Runner.
I know my pick may be screwed because Mike either hasn't seen it or is too boring for him.
But does it start slow?
It does start. It's real slow.
No, it starts with that interrogation.
That initial murder it does, but then after that it goes way slower. Okay. All right. Are you ready for my pick?
Jameis, it sounds like there will be no Bender picks, unfortunately.
No, yeah, Ben. I'm surprised. Comedy Robes, you didn't pick. Bender.
Yeah, Bender's the winner there.
All right. Since gaming is included, I picked the Conquest Princess, the most powerful weapon for justice in the galaxy. And if you wanted to know the reason why I picked the Conquest Princess, follow every example that I picked earlier today. Every one of those robots and those personalities and those female powerful things ended up combining to make the most powerful weapon for justice. If you agreed with any of the picks that I had for female empowerment, it's so important. And so I picked Conquest Princess as my giant robot.
I feel like I walked into a rigged election. I felt so good about that number one pick.
No, it's in Mike's choice. He can like validate you, or he can help an indie publisher make a difference in people's lives. Like there's two choices here, right? Validate him or help an indie publisher change the lives of underrepresented people. And by the way, no joke, Mike, I was homeless during my last Kickstarter. Please do not hold it against my choice. Just saying, wow. Mike.
Wait, who's picking? Wait, I rolled the nat 20.
Yeah, and you lost, and now you have to pick.
Lost to Roy, which means you now have to pick between
Roy
Conquest Princess and Roy.
Batty.
I didn't see Blade Runner, but I did make the girl transformation in our game last week. Therefore, Conquest Princess is the winner.
Yes! In the number one spot. I did it. Yes, I'm a winner.
I mean, hey, and I stuck to my guns there. I haven't seen Blade Runner. And as the guy that made the transformation, it just made sense.
That is the only way. Hold on.
Seppy,
hold on. Please. Seppy, please acknowledge that's the only way Roy Batty loses like top 10 robots. That's the only way Roy Batty loses.
I have a question though. Are they funny though?
I just Kaiser Soze'd you, Tim. I walked you to this game
you did. Time. You did. You did.
Like the clues that it was going to be the Conquest Princess were in every one of my picks, leading you up to the top pick.
I was so foolish. I walked in so arrogant, and I didn't see that it was fixed the whole time.
Hold on, though. I got to make an important distinction. Is that robot funny, though?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Its head changes into giant sharks and other things like that.
Oh, Roy's not funny. I will not make any allusions to that. Roy is the least funny robot on my list. He has no humor settings.
Don't hate the player. Hate the game.
Oh, Seppy, I am so disappointed in myself that I walked into that buzzsaw right at the beginning.
You kept on doing these like punchline robots, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna see that I did this. He's gonna see, and like people who stayed for the entire stream and watched this entire thing will now have been rewarded by having.
Oh my God. I can't argue with it, but
Yes, I took it.
So let's go ahead and discuss some of the robots that didn't make the list.
Okay, let's do that. That will make me feel a little better.
Bender, Robbie, R2D2 are all good choices, Mr. Brown. Yeah, absolutely.
So I did have Jet Jaguar. If somebody had taken Ash before I got to say Ash from Alien, I would have said David from Prometheus, because I can watch Michael Fassbender like watch paint dry. Like, he is such a fascinating actor. He's amazing. And he's the best part of those Alien, Prometheus, and Covenant movies.
Right.
A robot.
Was right. Kit should have been mentioned. Optimus Prime. If I had to pick a Transformer, I was going to pick Soundwave, because Soundwave is the only sane, on task. Like, everybody else is too emotional for a robot. Like, what the fuck's your problem?
That's a good pick on the Transformer.
What about Ava from Ex Machina? Man, that is probably too boring for Mike, but that movie is freaking haunting.
Oscar Isaac. Johnny Five got knocked out in round 10. Wayne got knocked out because he should have come in for 5. He would have taken.
Yeah, he should have come in for 5, because I could have overlooked Fisher Stevens if Johnny Five came in at 5.
I thought it was funnier if the number didn't match. Just being able to say my number 10 is number 5.
No.
So I'll tell you, to stay on theme here. Damn it! To stay on theme here, there is one funny robot that did not make my list, and that is Dot Matrix from Spaceballs.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah, Joan Rivers.
Rivers.
But honestly, though, I don't think that character is that funny, unfortunately. So that's why she did not make my list.
Oh, wait,
Wayne, I did.
2? Mike, you won number 2 with.
He did with Tom Servo.
Tom Servo, that's right.
And Wayne, I said that if Seppy had picked Yul Brynner, the gunslinger from Westworld, I would have gone there. Not because he is by any way better than Maeve, but Yul Brynner as the gunslinger was like, I mean, that was an icon of terror for me as a child.
Oh my God, yeah, loses his face. It's crazy. All right. Let's recap our list. Taking number 10 with Maria from Metropolis was Seppy. Taking number 9 with the most creative pick of the entire time from the Airplane movie is Mike with Otto. Taking number 8 with the nostalgia pick that both Tim and I chose is Jet Jaguar. That's me. Now Tim comes back really big in the middle with Ash from the original Alien movie, which is represented. Then Crow at number 3. And then number 5, it's Marvin from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Any representation of Marvin is fantastic. Then we have Mike coming back strong with IG-11. Such a good, strong pick. We have the most controversial pick at number 3, which is the Power Loader, Sigourney Weaver in the Power Loader, number 3. I will always have an asterisk on my victory for this reason. Number 2, Tom Servo comes back, giving it us all tied up. And then the final is Conquest Princess for the win.
For the win.
Amazing list. Seppy, I have to say, man, like, you're throwing the make it a competition was incredible. What a great.
That was fun.
What a great
idea.
You know what you've just done is you've awakened the demon, because we're going to find a way to gamify all of our top 10s now. I can tell you that right now.
Make sure you give Will this is his 3 Idiots format.
Sure.
Hungry Gamer Will. I thought this would be really funny because he normally does it with brackets and March Madness. And when you do it that way, it kind of it's a little too competitive. Where it's this, when we're rolling, we got a top 10 list, and then we like, how many top 10s can you take? But yeah, this is a take. It's a variant on a formula that I saw. But I'm a game designer. I saw something. We did it.
Wayne mentioned Sonny from iRobot. I hated that movie, but I do love, again, another Alan Tudyk voiced robot. And then I do love me some BB-8. Oh, the robots from Ice Pirates. Honorable mention, because isn't it Space Herpes?
Oh my
Space
God.
Herpes, Seppi. Same time. Space Herpes.
Going back up a bit here, Vision was one of my honorable mentions, and yes, I would take him over Ultron because of his importance in the Infinity Wars series.
I think I would go with Ultron, actually, because I think it was a very interesting villain that was sort of underutilized a little bit.
I think you guys are stealing your own thunder for later top 10 lists, but I think you should try to make a special event on every month. One of them is going to be this Battle Royale, the Rock'em Sock'em Robot version of the format. You should do that once a month for people to tune in, because this one really did have a punchline. Just so you know.
Oh, it did. It did. And Seppi, God damn it, I'm so mad at myself for not seeing it coming a freaking mile away.
You should like every one of my choices, from Giant Misako's giant robot to Maria. It was all leading up to the most powerful.
It really was. It really was. And I'm really mad that more of my gay icons early on didn't win.
Naked Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't win. Like, yeah,
that's true.
We were going for female empowerment for this section. Roy's a snack too. That's fine. It's really good.
Come on, though. You have to admit, Seppi, Roy Batty is a great pick for number one.
Oh my God, he's incredible. You guys really brought it. Like, Tim really made me go, Mike's gonna feel. Mike, you brought it. You had a great list.
Oh, here's the damn thing with Mike is I thought Mike was going to be a freaking pushover, and he never was. It was really frustrating. I thought, like, oh, I'm going to go up against Mike, no problem. And then Mike's coming out with fucking Otto. Like, how can I compete with?
So smart. Otto is so smart. It was such a surprise pick.
3D chess, and I'm here playing Chutes and Ladders, dude. He's like killing it.
Otto, I came up with that this morning.
Yeah, and it's a good choice.
It was a legit good choice, Mike.
Absolutely.
A legit good choice.
Start with your creativity. That's what it means to you know, yeah. It's special. Well, I've got to go. You guys are fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on. And let me know when you guys want to group up again. Just so you know, Mike, the next Kickstarter from Fight in a Box is for our second edition of End of the Line. Post-apocalyptic family survival. So maybe the next list we should talk about is post-apocalyptic world. Post-apocalyptic, like, there it is.
Oh wait, upside down.
So good. It's so good. And so the second edition tested really well at Protosteel this Sunday. The core concept is solid for it. It takes all the mayhem of the first edition and gives it in a much sleeker package, 45 minutes. It is fantastic. I've got two major things to work out for it, but we are design-wise on track for a June-ish crowdfund. So if you guys want me back, we can do another top 10 list. You can try to take the champion.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on. Seppi. So if we do like post-apocalyptic and then Seppi ends with End of the Line, I just got to make sure I'm not going head-to-head with him at the end of it. But Seppi, 1,000,000%, lock us in for when you're ready for that Kickstarter. We want you on. We want to talk about it. Let's do it. We can do, if it's on TTS, we can do a teach, and we can do the double feature. We can have you on again, and we can talk post-apocalyptic movies, games, TV shows.
And we're gonna hang out at Gen Con this year, so we gotta talk more about that. You guys have been so wonderful, so positive. Thanks for embracing both me and my creative director Mark, even though I was yelling in his ear for our whole playthrough of Princess. Thanks so much for having me on, and thanks to all your fans who participated in the Conquest Princess crowdfund. It means the world to indie publishers. So,
Seppy, you're the best, dude. We'll see you later.
No,
Thank you again.
great. And I'm glad my punchline worked. You guys I'm so surprised we had 0 duplicate picks.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That was awesome.
It's crazy.
Quick question before you go. Will you be at Gen Con and or Origins?
He said
we're gonna talk about it. Yeah. Okay. I probably one of them, if not both.
Okay.
But it depends on how my campaign goes. If folks want to see me.
Everybody wants to see you, Seppy. Everybody wants to see you.
Thank you for this Minnesota goodbye. I will talk to you later.
Yes, you have a great night, man. Thank you so much.
Bye.
I can't, wow. Mike, I walked right into that damn buzzsaw and I didn't even see it coming. I did not even see that.
How was I going to pick against that?
No, you couldn't.
How was I going to pick against that?
That's why I took my headphones off and walked away, because I'm like, what the hell am I going to do?
And yes, I used it to my advantage, but in this particular setting. But yes, David, I have not seen a lot of sci-fi movies. You know, part of it is when I was a kid and I tried to watch some sci-fi, honestly, the special effects were so unrealistic that even for me as a kid, I'm like, I can't. Now, that being said, you know, the stuff from old Star Wars ages incredibly well.
Mm-hmm.
Incredibly well. Obviously, remastering has a lot to do with that. But there's so much old sci-fi that I can't get into it because of how poor it looks. I hate to say that, but that's kind of where I'm at with it. Now, as an adult, I'll probably revisit it because too many people have said, "Hey, you need to watch this stuff." Yeah, bad special effects can kill me. It really can.
I will say, I do think you might actually like Blade Runner. I will say that there's enough action in Blade Runner that I think will pull you in, that could pull you in, because there's a genuine mystery there. And there's a mystery to that movie that people still argue about to this day, which is, I think, awesome. I think that's a great sign for a movie, you know, is because when you watch it and you're still trying to solve it and it's left ambiguous, I mean, not so ambiguous that it's unsatisfying, but it leaves questions that you're like, okay, so is this or is this that? And you can make arguments for both. It's kind of like The Thing. Did you watch the original Thing? Or not the original Thing, but the 80s Thing, yes. John Carpenter Thing, right?
Yes.
You know, and people still argue whether or not, Kurt Russell's, you know, is he the Thing by the end?
I loved both of them. I thought both of them were really great. I really kind of like how they go with the origin story on the newer one. They're like, here's the stuff that was happening before that first movie existed, you know, 30 years after the fact. I just thought that was really cool.
Well, it's funny you say that, though, and being taken out of it by bad special effects, because that new one has worse special effects than the original.
Yes. It does. And I don't think it's bad enough to bother me, because the only part that's really bad to me is the helicopter scene where the guy splits in half.
Oh,
when his head first starts to split, I'm like, am I playing an N64? Because that part's pretty bad. The rest of it, I don't think is really that bad. It doesn't take away from the movie at all. And that one scene I'm talking about is only like a split second and then it's gone.
There's a few parts of that movie that bother me, but I agree with you. They do a really good job of being a prequel when really it's kind of almost, I mean, it literally just takes place like 3 days before the original. So it's barely a prequel. You know what I mean? Because it's like so close. David's saying you should watch Forbidden Planet. Again, Robbie the Robot. So Robbie the Robot, which is funny because I always got Robbie the Robot mixed up with the robot from Lost in Space, the original TV show. Even though Robbie the Robot was on Lost in Space like a couple times. You could, if you wanted, you could watch the MST3K, the movie, where they cover Forbidden Planet. And then you can watch Forbidden Planet, and you can watch it with Joel and the robots. Or maybe it's Mike, but still, you get to watch it with the MST3K twist.
I have not seen that movie, the MST3K movie.
But Robbie the Robot, iconic robot. He was in like 3 different Twilight Zones. He actually has like a cameo in Gremlins. He's in a ton of stuff. You will know that robot instantly. If you Google Robbie the Robot and look at him, you're going to go, oh, I've seen that. I've seen that robot somewhere. You may not know exactly where.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, you've seen him. You've seen him. But yeah, Forbidden. Oh, go on.
Oh no, we were, and Seppy referenced it a few times, and some of the things that like lose me in movies, like slow entrances to movies, unless it's like weird or there's some twist somewhere in there. Like, man, some of the movies that take like 30-40 minutes to get like set up and get moving, I'm like, oh, do something, please. And it's not just action, just give me a plot twist, give me something to go on. And I specifically referenced the Dune movie because I think that's an interesting universe. But as someone that never read the book and wants to like try to learn about that universe, that movie does a terrible job introducing people to that universe, unfortunately. And I'm sure the rest of you love it. So I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, no, don't apologize. Because here's the thing: is that movie, especially the Denis Villeneuve version, it rewards people that are familiar with the lore because it's like it's feeding you all of that, right? I will say Blade Runner, for example. I think Blade Runner might grab you earlier because Blade Runner literally has stuff that is very interesting and it kicks off that mystery right away. Because I'll just give you the premise of Blade Runner without ruining it. Okay, so it's the future, and Harrison Ford is what they call a Blade Runner, which is he looks for rogue replicants. Replicants are robots that look like people that were basically created to do like slave labor. Okay, so when replicants go AWOL, Harrison Ford and Edward James Olmos, it is their jobs to like hunt down the replicants, find them, because they're trying to blend into humanity, and destroy them because they're not doing what they're programmed to do. It's dangerous when they stray from their programming. Okay, so they have these Voight-Kampff tests that they give replicants to try to tell if people are replicants, and so there's that. That's like an interesting thing, but it's like a hard-boiled like detective mystery thriller, and you don't always know who's a replicant and who's not. And there's some that are very obvious, but there's some that there's not, and you really question. And like, so there's sort of this moral quandary with that too. Like, because the thing is replicants don't always know that they're replicants. Like the more advanced that the replicants get, the more they have like implanted memories, which make them think that they're people. So it gets really interesting and really kind of trippy, and you really kind of just try to wrap your brain around it. But it's a badass mystery. There's some really good action and just some fucking powerhouse acting. Like I said, that Rutger Hauer line at the end, that Roy Batty line, all of those moments will be gone like tears in the rain. I mean, how amazing is that line just by itself? You just think about like philosophically about that, right? Because he was the one person to see that. He saw all of those things. And when he's gone, all of those things are gone, like tears in the rain. It's amazing. So I would recommend Blade Runner.
I'll check that one out.
I think that will hold up for you better than the Dune movies will. Because, again, Dune rewards you for knowing the books and stuff. And if it's not like Game of Thrones. Like you can watch the Game of Thrones series and, at least early on, you can understand like, oh, okay, this is interesting because there's some intrigue and there's murder and there's sex and violence.
I'll tell you what's going on as it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, not having read the book, I didn't think it was a detriment to the Game of Thrones series. Blade Runner, I can get on Prime Video. The MST3K movie is free on Tubi, so
hell yeah,
I will
brother! It's
definitely be watching that. And I just want to say, it is because of MST3K that I found it more enjoyable to watch bad movies and rip them apart with certain sets of friends. I have certain sets of friends. That is what we'll do. We'll watch a movie just to rip them apart. And it's sometimes a lot of fun. And that is just what I love about MST3K is that they take these super old movies and just make them enjoyable.
I I have made friends because of MST3K. I have bonded with my father because of MST3K. I mean, there's so many things I have tied to MST3K that I will always love and appreciate, and it will forever, hold a place in my heart.
I love to rip on bad movies.
Oh, dude, there's so many good MST3K movies that you should see. Like Pod People is one that I recommend. That's one that like a ton. Teenagers from Outer Space is an amazing one. Everybody kind of knows about Mitchell. Mitchell's a great one. It's iconic. Yeah. There's so many good ones.
Man, you're making me just want to go back and just watch as much MST3K as I can gobble up.
Dude, the second you said the movie was on Tubi, I'm like, I need to go watch that because I remember when that movie came out. So it had to be like 96, 97. My friend and I walked from Adams High School to Town and Country. I know you know where those two places are in South Bend. We walked to Town and Country to see it. I don't remember if we skipped school or if we just left after school and walked there. But that's a couple miles. We walked there to go see the movie in theater.
That's a bit of a haul. That was a 96 release.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so that would have been my junior year. My junior year of high school.
I'm pretty sure I never watched it. I don't think I did. That's a shame. It's crazy. See, even stuff I love, I miss the movies sometimes. I don't prioritize them. It is what it is.
It happens, man. Well, here's the thing: is there's tons of movies that I haven't seen because they become such a big part of the zeitgeist that like I feel like I've already seen it. I'll give you an example, Mike, and this will get me in trouble with people that will be like, "You're not a real movie fan." I've never seen The Iron Giant for that reason.
Wow. That is a fantastic movie, Tim. It really is.
Hands down, everybody I've ever talked, I've never heard anyone say a bad thing about it.
It's really, really good.
I did do what Seppy told me to do, and I should have told him while he was on. But I did watch the first 15 minutes of Up, and yes, it devastated me, but I knew it would. But I kind of haven't watched The Iron Giant for the same reason. Like I learned so much about it, and I just knew after I heard all about it from everybody else, I knew that it would just break my heart. You know what I mean? And it's like, man, do I just feel like getting destroyed today? Like let me equate it to a sports movie, for example. And maybe you like this movie, maybe you don't. But there's a movie that I think is amazing, but I can't watch it all the time because it's so hard to watch. And that is $1 Million Baby. Have you seen $1 Million Baby?
I have not.
Oh, it's an amazing movie, but it's devastating. It is 100% devastating. But I strongly recommend it to everybody to see at least once. It's so good.
Nice. Morgan Freeman. Okay.
Morgan Freeman, Clint Eastwood, Jay Baruchel, the female in it, and I can't think of her name. She was in Girl Interrupted.
Hilary Swank.
Yeah, Hilary Swank. She's freaking fantastic.
Yeah, she's good.
Oh my God, that movie's so good, Mike.
Yeah, it's
Anthony Mackie's in that movie.
I don't know. There's just the emotional response I think is important to Iron Giant. And for me, it's a big part of me because of watching it with like a 7-8-year-old kid, for many, many times.
I think Iron Giant is like a cultural touchstone. You know what I mean? Like, and there's some movies that if you watch them now, may not be as important or impactful as if you had watched them when they were new. Like I would say Last Starfighter, right? Seppy and I clearly love that movie. I wouldn't go, Mike, go watch Last Starfighter. It's going to blow your mind. It's going to be the most amazing thing ever. It's clearly very 80s, Mike. Like if you watch Last Starfighter, watch it and have a good time, but I would not die on the hill where it's like, you're going to watch an amazing movie that's going to change your life.
Well, I just pulling up the screenshots of it. I was like, oh God.
Yeah, dude. Exactly. I think if you watched it with like the right group of people and a good frame of mind, you'd have a good time with it. I honestly think you'd enjoy it. But if you sat down like by yourself, I'm going to dig into this movie. I don't know that it's going to land for you the way that it did for me. And it's not a judgment on you. It's just that shit hits you differently at different times in your life. Right. So.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And that's the fun thing about quality cinema is that it can have that kind of emotional impact on you.
Yeah, for sure.
And for me, there aren't a lot of them that are like that, but Iron Giant is one of those for me, for sure.
I love that, dude. I love that. I think that's great. Well,
man, I gotta say, I know that he said he stole that from the Hunger Gamer, William Brown, and doing, they're doing more like a bracket style. And I remember seeing that he posted about doing that on social media here recently. I'm like, you remember? I had even said, Tim, we need to figure out a way to do a bracket around March Madness because this basketball fan right here would love to do a board game bracket somehow. But I love even just Seppy's twist on it today. Even if it's just, hey, you pitch your case for your game, I pitch my case for my game, and all of our viewers decide who had the best pick.
Mike,
that would be a lot of fun.
Mike, I think we got to do this way more often. I agree with you. I think Seppy came in and like flipped our channel on its head.
Seriously. Yeah, I love the idea. Even our next top 10, even if next week we talked about going back to our finishing off our top 100 finally, right after 3 months.
Oh my God, yeah.
But finishing our top 100 with 51 through 60 and just having our picks and debating them would still, I think, be a good test run for this and see how the people like it. So
let's do it, man. Let's do it. So tentatively, assuming we don't have another guest next week, we're going to finish our top 50 that didn't make the top 50, right? So 101 through 51, because we did Bacardi 101. So we did an alcohol themed there. But we will go through 60 through 51. Oh, yeah. I thought of Bacardi 151. Whoops.
David's got a point, though. I mean, we have our tangents.
I think what we need to do with it more is when we have other top 10s and we've got a guest and if they're down to kind of argue their points for things, and then we can make a definitive top 10.
That's a good idea. It's something to experiment with, and we'll just kind of see how the timing plays out and go from there.
But and yeah, obviously we're open. I mean, honestly, if it's just Mike and I, we could just leave it up to the chat to pick the winner.
It wouldn't be as long because it would be 2 instead of 3 people as well.
Right.
So.
Also true. But Seppy was really good about keeping us moving.
Yeah, he was. What a blast. He was awesome to have on both of these weeks, playing his game. Such a unique theme, really fun mechanics, an enjoyable co-op game. I look forward to trying some of the modules, the tons of modules that he's got in that game. And this list tonight, man, that was a lot of fun.
Mike, that was so much fun, dude. And I was like really excited to see what you and Seppy were going to bring to the table, and you guys did not disappoint. I love how quick you shot down Osmo 3000, because we all know the Osmo is Cartman in a box. That doesn't count. Doesn't count. Flesh brain doesn't count. But I was not aware. I was not aware of I'd stopped watching South Park by the time the joke bot or whatever showed up.
Yeah, Funny Bot was more recent. Like I want to say like season 17 or 18, and they're on like 25 now, but they've had some breaks in there.
Sure.
Um, Thanks, Wayne. It was a lot of fun to do this one for sure. Seppy is just a really fun human being.
Oh my God, Seppy's amazing. He's the best. Seppy's one of those dudes that I will hang out with because he's so smart. He's so sneaky smart. Like you're having such a good time with Seppy, you don't realize how smart he is. But he just has a way of like drilling down into things and just learning about people. He's really a great dude. If you get the opportunity to meet him, you know, I would just enjoy him. He's great. And Mike, thanks for being open to having him on in back-to-back weeks.
Oh, of course.
You know, it was awesome opportunity for us. Great for him. Real quick, as we're wrapping up, a game that we just covered, Caloria is on Kickstarter right now. Mike, you didn't play that, but I think you'd really like it.
I love the look of it.
I don't think we have to ship the prototypes off anywhere. So that is a tile laying ecosystem building game. You can watch our video on it. I've never played anything like it. It's very cool. I equate it to sort of Suburbia, but better, more interesting. And also it's nature themed, which I normally hate, but Mike loves. And we all had very strongly positive reactions to Caloria. So that is on Kickstarter. You can also find, yeah, there it is right there. It's already funded. They've got, they're going to come out with other biomes, which represent different ecosystems. We only got to play with the East Texas Piney Woods, but I look forward to seeing what their other ones are. So I would strongly recommend you guys check this out and see if that game is for you. Whether you watch our video or somebody else's, they've got a really nice tutorial video on there too that explains the game really well.
Kind of skimming through this pretty fast. I was, you know, I was just looking at tiers. I really like the look of this. I like the color palette a lot in the art style.
Yeah, really it's nice. It's pretty cool. It is pretty cool. We had a really good time with it. Also, really obviously, please check out Conquest Princess. Fashion is Power. There will be no other game like it in your collection. Also, like Caloria, you're going to support, you know, independent designers. Seppy is not, you know, they're not in it for the money. These guys are in it for the passion of their projects. And, you know, they make crazy games. They give you a ton of stuff with their games. And, yeah. Also just good human beings all around, you know, involved in these projects. Mike, that's all I got. You got anything else?
I don't. It was a blast. It was a blast.
Yeah. All right.
They're like, ho hum, we're gonna go back to our top 100 next week.
I know it. It'll almost be boring by comparison, but we'll get that done. But Mike and I are going to be back with the energy, you know, the vim and the vigor that we approach every show. I am grateful that we get to do this every week. So thank you so much, guys.
Indeed.
Mike, Couch Mike, for the Board Game Rundown. I've been Tim.
I was Couch Mike.
Woo! We will see you next week.
See you guys.